Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there is a ton of news stories to get into today, so let's talk about some Impact Wrestling, and let's talk about the former Impact Wrestling stars, that being Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux, also former WWE superstars before they were released by WWE earlier this year. They're currently serving their 90-day non-compete clause before they can officially sign with another pro wrestling company such as Impact Wrestling, AEW, MLW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, etc. Now, being that Karrion Kross, the former NXT champion, and Scarlett Bordeaux, the Smoke Show, as she was known in Impact Wrestling, have a history with the company, some people have said maybe, just maybe, the former NXT champion and his real-life fiancée could land back in Impact Wrestling once their 90-day non-compete clause has expired. Well, don't expect it. Don't expect it because it looks very, very, very unlikely for a variety of reasons, but certainly now that Scarlett Bordeaux herself has dismissed any chances of her or Karrion Kross returning to Impact Wrestling. Now, Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux are apparently not interested in returning to Impact Wrestling. Scarlett recently appeared for a K&S WrestleFest virtual signing and responded to a fan who said they'd like to see her wrestle in Impact again. She said, quote, "We're not going back there. We're not going back there. No," she said while laughing. Scarlett was asked if there's a reason why she wouldn't go back to Impact. She said, "No, thanks for asking though," which means yes. Which means yes. Being so definite that they're definitely not going back there and saying, is there a particular reason? No, thank you for asking. It's like, there is a reason. We'll touch on the reason as to why. But Scarlett originally worked for Impact Wrestling from July 2018 to June 2019. While Kross was with the company from June 2018 to December 2019 and then left after behind-the-scenes issues. Scarlett signed with WWE in November 2019, but Kross didn't actually sign with WWE rather. At the same time, Kross signed in February 2020. She recently actually revealed that initially, there were plans for Scarlett to manage Damian Priest in WWE, but once, of course, Karrion Kross did indeed sign with WWE, then it was inevitable they were going to be paired together as they were in Impact Wrestling and as they have been for a long time now. Now, they were both released Thursday, November 4, along with 16 other budget cuts. Scarlett became a free agent on Saturday, December 4, when her 30-day non-compete clause expired, and Kross will become a free agent on Wednesday, February 2nd, when his 90-day non-compete clause expires. Now, Kross has been announced for an in-ring return on Saturday, February 5th at WrestlePro Killer Instinct event in New Jersey against Flip Gordon. That event will also feature Scarlett's in-ring return as she faces Harley Cameron in her wrestling debut. So, there's no word right now as to what Kross and Scarlett are going to do when it comes to the future, who they're going to sign with, etc., all that kind of stuff. It's not a surprise. Obviously, it's not a surprise when it comes to Scarlett and Karrion Kross not going back to Impact Wrestling. There's a lot of issues there and there's a lot of baggage. The issues between then known as Killer Kross and Impact Wrestling have been well documented. Kross asked for his release and he wasn't granted it by the company. There were reports that he had asked for it and then he wasn't giving it. There was rumors of legal issues or certain litigation between either company. I've got some quotes from when he did an interview. This was in, when was this? This was in September of 2019. He said, quote, and he was still under contract to Impact Wrestling at the time. He said, quote, "I'm in a situation right now where I have to be very careful how I choose to address things. My hands are completely clean in all of this. I've been attempting to get clarification on things that were supposed to be given to me in a timely manner. Some of them have been. I'm not even sure how to put it. It's so difficult to answer. It's very difficult to even discuss. I'm doing my absolute best to remain civil and professional on the entire ordeal, and it's extremely difficult. I'm just looking to be treated fairly. I'm just looking to put my best work out there. There are now situations that are occurring where basically opportunities are being delayed, and I guess, what is the easiest way to put it? Opportunities are being... I apologize. It's really the first time I've talked about it. These things I'm attempting to pursue in my career, I'm being blocked from pursuing them for really ridiculous circumstances. So This included when Karrion Kross was supposed to work a AAA show, and he was taken off the card once AAA partnered with Impact Wrestling at the time, and it got, again, very, very messy. He mentioned that at the time that the reason Impact Wrestling said that they wouldn't release him is because he's under contract. However, Impact also released at the time Scarlett Bordeaux from her contract whenever she requested it, so he was surprised why he wasn't being let go. There was a lot going on. And there really was some salacious rumors as well about certain conduct, shall we say, or certain allegations that I think Scarlett had put towards certain Impact Wrestling executives, and vice versa. It must be said. It was said that Karrion Kross and Scarlett were being unprofessional, all that kind of stuff. Just again, you can certainly see it. You can certainly see it. There was also, I believe, an incident where they asked, I think, Karrion Kross to get colour, to go to Blade at a show, and he said no because they didn't provide a doctor for that show. There was a lot of this. There was really a lot of this in that relationship when it comes to Impact. As I mentioned, it was a case of possible litigation, not letting people go from contracts while letting the partner go from the contracts, asking people to bleed when there wasn't doctors present, allegations of misconduct from executives. Given that all of that went on, they won't go back. They won't go back. And obviously, when Scarlett's been asked there, is there a particular reason as to why you're not going to go back? And she's gone, no, it's because she doesn't want to get into litigation again. Or she doesn't want to certainly get closer and start throwing stones in issues that are over and done with, essentially. So, long story short, if you're expecting Karrion Kross or Scarlett Bordeaux to end up back in Impact Wrestling, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I certainly can see them going to AEW. I think they would suit there very well. I think Karrion Kross, this is the thing with Karrion Kross, is he does divide opinion quite a bit. There were certainly people, even during his time in NXT, when he was being pushed to the moon and undefeated for 18 months, defeated everyone. There were still people at the time that were saying, is this really a guy that should be going undefeated for 18 months? Is he even all that? Some people even said Scarlett Bordeaux was the biggest star, or certainly had the more potential than Karrion Kross. So he deserved better, I think, in WWE on the main roster. There's no doubt about it. You know, given the ridiculous gimmick of the gladiator and the mask and the suspenders, it was ridiculous. And being undefeated for 18 months and then losing in 100 seconds on your debut on Raw to Jeff Hardy. No disrespect to Jeff Hardy, but he'd been doing nothing. Jeff Hardy's released now as well. So the whole Karrion Kross situation in WWE just was ridiculously botched once it got to the main roster. So obviously he'll have a chip on his shoulder and he'd be hoping to prove WWE wrong. And I think he will do that most likely in AEW. I could absolutely, though, see him working for New Japan. Again, the travel situation is tough right now to actually be going to Japan, so I don't know if he'll be doing that anytime soon. But certainly on the New Japan Strong shows, he could be working that. Wouldn't be surprised if he showed up in MLW too. There are plenty of places. There are plenty of places for him to work. He might just work the independent scene. He might work for AAA. It was an issue that he was booked for a AAA show, then he was pulled from it, then didn't he appear anyway? All that kind of stuff. That was when this whole Impact stuff was going on in the first place. So there's certainly a chance he could do that too. So there are plenty of options available to both of them. Impact Wrestling isn't going to be one of them, though. So that kind of, I've seen some people going, are they going to go back? Very unlikely. And Scarlett herself has said not going to happen. One person we know is in Impact Wrestling, though, is the former NXT North American champion, that being Bronson Reed, now known, of course, as Jonah. He has gone into a bit more detail as to what his current deal is with Impact Wrestling. Now, of course, Jonah made his Impact Wrestling debut at Turning Point, taking out former Impact World Champion Josh Alexander. Now, Jonah, of course, formerly known as Bronson Reed in WWE, was released by WWE on August 6th. After a run with the NXT North American Championship and after working dark matches on the main roster. Now, after getting this visa and green card situation sorted, he's appeared for New Japan Pro Wrestling on the Strong shows and has, of course, been appearing on episodes of Impact Wrestling. Now, speaking recently on the Busted Open radio show, Jonah discussed his 2022 outlook, a lot of 20s in there, 2022 outlook, while giving some information on his current contracts or deals, agreements, whatever you want to call them, with Impact Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling. He said, quote, 2022, I'm very excited excited for myself and professional wrestling. It's exciting for everyone that is a fan of professional wrestling as well. You're going to be able to see people wrestle different places and different promotions and different opponents that you never thought you'd be able to see. Almost some dream matches will happen next year. There is that forbidden door that people keep walking through. For someone like myself, I have an agreement with New Japan. I have a short-term agreement with Impact. You never know where I could be in 2022. Now, of course, Jonah is set to face Josh Alexander at Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill pay-per-view in January. He'll also compete at the PWG Battle of Los Angeles in 2022 as well. So there you go. Again, we spoke about this previously before. Did he even have a contract? Was Jonah under contract to Impact Wrestling? Was he under contract to New Japan? He did an interview, as I mentioned before, with Fightful, where he said that he is under contract to New Japan Pro Wrestling. They have priority over his bookings, but because of the working relationship with New Japan and just the contract that he has, he's able to take outside bookings, preferably with people that New Japan has a working relationship with. But if he wants to work on those indie shows or the super indie shows like PWG or wherever it may be, spot shows, he absolutely can. And it's more than just a handshake relationship or anything like that he currently has with Impact. He is on a short-term agreement with the company. How short that may be, and will it lead to something else? Time will only tell. I think that Impact Wrestling, people might see that and go, it's only going to be around for a couple of months. Impact Wrestling's deals, a lot of the times, do start off as a short term. So many contracts or people that have been there for a long time in Impact started off on handshake deals or per appearance deals or short-term deals, and then they remain for 2 or 3 years. I don't even know right now, and Matt Cardona is in the main event of Hard to Kill in January. I don't even know if he's got a contract. He's never had a contract since he's been there. He's always been on a per appearance deal, and now he's nearly been there for an entire year, and he's in the main event of Hard to Kill. W. Morrissey was on a short-term deal from April to October. When it came to him coming in at Rebellion, he was meant to be finishing up at Bound for Glory. He's still there as well. There's rumors about him negotiating contracts with Impact Wrestling at the moment. So just because Jonah is on a short-term deal with Impact Wrestling right now doesn't necessarily mean he won't be there in the future. If anything, I expect him to stick around because Impact Wrestling are very, very flexible, and they do make it very easy for these people to stick around for a long time because they want them to. They know what Jonah's capable of, and they know that the former Bronson Reed is a big star, certainly for them, and a name that people recognize and can have great matches, and he's different. He's a big guy, physically big guy. So, of course, they want to keep him around, and they'll do what they can to ensure that continues to happen. So just because he's on a short-term deal at the moment, I think he's going to stick around for the future. And especially with this working relationship between Impact Wrestling and New Japan, I think he's in the right place right now. So I still think Josh Alexander will probably beat him at Hard to Kill, but I think Jonah will stick around after the pay-per-view in January. Speaking of Hard to Kill as well, Knockouts Championship is on the line, of course, at the pay-per-view, but we now know what the match is going to be. There is a stipulation that has been added to this match, and it's going to be a Texas death match. Following the pandemonium that's ensued post-Bound for Glory, Knockouts champion Mickie James and Deonna Purrazzo will now meet in a Texas death match for the championship at Hard to Kill. Their match was the first contest announced for the event. Obviously, more matches have been announced now. Now, the specific stipulation, easy for me to say, came to fruition following another beatdown between James and Purrazzo at a meet and greet session during last week's edition of Impact Wrestling. It was Gail Kim's call to make the contest a Texas death match. Now, of course, Mickie James won the Knockouts Championship from Purrazzo at Bound for Glory in October, making this her fourth run with the title. As for Purrazzo, should she win, it'll be the third time she has held the title. Once the dust has settled on this rivalry, it's been reported that Purrazzo will face Ring of Honor Women's Champion Roxy post Hard to Kill. It wasn't confirmed if their winner-take-all match will happen in Impact or through another promotion. Purrazzo appeared at Final Battle recently, Ring of Honor's last official show before their reboot, calling out the Women's World Champion for a future title versus title match. Of course, Purrazzo currently holds the AAA Reina de Reinas Championship. However, Roxy did appear at a recent WWE tryout, so who knows if that's even going to happen at the moment. But we could be looking at a situation, which I do think, Deonna Purrazzo, I think, will win at Hard to Kill, become a 3-time champion, defeating Mickie James. This sets up the winner-take-all match between Purrazzo and Roxy, which I think she'll finish up her commitments if Roxy does indeed sign with WWE. I think she'll finish up her commitments, drop the title, I guess, to Deonna Purrazzo. Then you've got a situation where Deonna Purrazzo is the Impact, Ring of Honor, and AAA Women's Champion. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. And I think that's the situation they could be going in. And who knows, maybe Deonna Purrazzo will become her own version of the belt collector. Maybe she'll go over to the NWA, win that title as well. You know, they'd want it. And the working relationship is certainly there between Impact Wrestling and the NWA now. So that's very exciting. Speaking of females holding championships in Impact Wrestling, the Impact Digital Media Championship will be on the line at the upcoming Terminus event. It's been announced via social media that Impact Digital Media Champion Jordynne Grace will be defending her title against Kiera Hogan at next month's Terminus event. Now, this show, Terminus' first legitimate event, will be happening at the Kross Center in Atlanta, Georgia. It was announced the Impact World Champion Moose will be going one-on-one with Alex Coughlin in what appears to be a non-title match. Others set to debut at the event include Tracy Williams, Lizzie Hall, Jenna Kai, Invictus Nash, Jay Lethal, Daniel Garcia, and others. But it's certainly very exciting, this Terminus event. Of course, Terminus is a new promotion starting from Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham and Baron Black. It was created after Ring of Honor announced its hiatus until April 2022. So I don't think this is meant to replace Ring of Honor or anything like that, but it's meant to be something different. Who knows what it will lead to? But certainly, of course, it's no surprise that Jordynne Grace would be appearing at the event, considering she is the wife of Jonathan Gresham. So certainly exciting. I don't think that she's going to drop the championship by any means. But once again, Kiera Hogan left Impact Wrestling, and in the last couple of months, she would have competed for the Impact Knockouts Championship at the NWA event at Hard Times 2, and now she's competing for the Impact Digital Media Championship at the Terminus event. She's never had so many opportunities to win Impact Wrestling Gold. She never had that many when she was under contract. Unbelievable. But look, guys, as always, it's just one man's opinion. What are your thoughts on these Impact Wrestling news stories we've spoken about today? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll do my best to respond and reply to all of your comments. Really enjoy interacting with you guys, talking about Impact Wrestling, WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, all things pro wrestling here on the channel. So be sure to get involved in the community. Drop a comment below. All opinions are welcome. If you have enjoyed this video, please do smash a like on the like button too. Really does help us out here on YouTube. Got the rankings and get into people's recommendation feeds if they haven't seen our videos previously. But most importantly, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to Wrestling News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now, or if you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video along with another video for you to watch. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or have you come across this video today, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.